Hello, welcome to Kaijudo 24/7. I'm Jared Oxader.
And I'm Steve Ferry.
And today we'll be talking about our top 8 creature sleeper hits. So these are the cards that we think, the creature cards that we think could be very, very good. Seen in a lot of lists, but they don't have the support yet, or there hasn't been enough playtesting done with them, and no one has kind of cracked them out yet. So we'll start. We don't have any honorable mentions for this list, so we'll just start right at number 8. Which is Gregoria the Malevolent. This video you get pop-ups with the cards too.
Ooh, could be made up.
No, I'll definitely do it this time.
We were going to do it in the last one, and we kind of, some stuff happened and we had to rush to do it.
Yeah. So, Gregoria the Malevolent. She is... He? I don't know if
Her is a chick, I guess.
Let's look at the... Yes. Oh, did we look at the flavor text for that one?
Nope.
Whatever. Gregoria, it can be very good card advantage. She comes down on turn 6. If you're playing her in a green shell, then she could be a turn earlier, whatever. But she could be very good knocking out Skull Shatters for the few people that are still running those. Any pierces that your opponent was holding on to for juiciness. Same with Grasp. Any removal really that they might have been holding on grip for your bombs, you're going to get rid of that.
It's a miniature Skull Shatter on a guy that or girl that there's not really a deck that can support it well yet. Saberbolt, it could have some application there as a top of the curve kind of thing, but right now spells are too good not to play, and knocking out your own spells is kind of rough. I've play tested it kind of a lot in Saberbolt and a lot of stuff, and it was either clunky, there was just better options to cast, and we ended up just cutting it completely.
Yeah, so that's definitely a card that doesn't seem like it has a support, but maybe we were trying it in the wrong kind of list. Our thoughts on it, or what it can be played in, is anything blurpily. I think it would need that support from another color. But if you were going to play it in a mono black list, that list would have to be a mid-range, very mid-rangey. You don't want to be putting a lot of pressure early on, and that would be like a turn to 3 turns before you're planning on winning. She would hit play,
and it's only really good in against certain decks like Control, Lightweight, Dark. It's okay, and it's situational.
Yeah. So right now the card's okay against some, really terrible against other decks. So that's why it's just.
But with future releases of sets, it could be a staple. Mm-hmm. Has the potential. That's why it's a sleeper.
That's why it's a sleeper. Moving on to number 7, we have Gigahorn Charger. That one has actually seen a little bit of play. I think CVH had it as a Earth Power, or whomever. I happened to see Earth Power's video, but I know he had picked up. Maybe they had picked up the list from someone else. I don't know. Either way, it has seen a little bit of play, but not a whole lot as like a 3 of that I know of right now. And one of the reasons it's very good is it's pretty much as good as a Crystal Memory with the amount of work it puts in. You stick him, he's going to get his effect right away as soon as he comes into play. You don't have to swing with him to do anything. You get to pick up your deck, look through it, which lets us figure out what?
Shields?
Oh my god, we can figure out what's maybe in our... Well, it's definitely in our shields.
Isn't that why Crystal Memory is really good too?
That's it.
Known information.
It's one of the reasons. It's weird.
It's that horse that we beat all the time.
Neat.
Alright.
So...
It's dead.
Yeah. It also serves as pressure. You're going to stick that guy, and he is going to be swinging. And he's a little tiny for a 5 guy, but you already got your use out of him.
And that's a card advantage. Not really card advantage. He's 1 for 1, but he's there, and he attacks.
And he's so good. If your local metagame is very Keeper of Law heavy, like a lot of people are just abusing Keeper of Law, he is amazing. You can just mana zone that crystal and drop the Charger and grab, I don't know, any good creature that you want to play. Turn 6, turn 7, turn 8, turn 9.
He gets Andromedas, right?
Yeah, I think he does. So, we think he could probably fit in definitely a mid-range list.
Definitely.
Because
He gets lyras too, right?
Yeah, he grabs you lyras. Interesting. And also control. Maybe not as good in control, but if, like I said, if your meta game is very keeper heavy, then he'll put in a lot of work for you.
Also, if he, like me and Jared will be making another video about playtesting, if you do your playtesting, you know what the best card is and the best creature to get against certain matches. That's important.
Yep. Moving on to number 6 on our list, we have Cybersphere Dragon.
This is my baby. I've been playing a lot of Cybersphere Dragon lately. He's just always around. He's a dragon, which is huge. So he goes real well with Nyx. Your opponent, he makes your Nyxes into Luxes because your opponent has to Bone Blades a Lux to successfully sort of buy them time against the Cybersphere Dragon. He is root trappable, which sees a lot of play, but he just keeps turning sideways. And if there's a Nyx out, you're drawing cards. He's a 7 mana, 6 mana investment over and over again, but against like Lightweight Dark and a lot of the other heavier control decks, he just keeps turning sideways.
We think he'll probably fit best in a tempo list. Some sort of tempo-y thing where it doesn't really matter that if the game does end up going a little longer, you're still kind of getting their dudes out of the way, or you made it really hard for them to get rolling. By the time they get rolling, you're breaking shields with this dude that doesn't like to go away. He just keeps coming back for more. And then you could kind of play him in a control. In a control list, he's good against other control decks. And he lets you, like, if they just keep killing it, you just keep bringing it back and building up cards in your hand. And then once they finally do perma answering, then you have all that juice to lay out on the board. And then in the non-control matchups, when you're playing the control with him in the control list, then you can just pitch him the mana. It doesn't matter. He won't come in the mana tapped because he's mono blue. So
Yeah, there's a lot of support for him too right now. I don't know why he doesn't see play. Maybe because there's better options out there right now currently. But when I was Jira's KMC winning deck that I designed for him, I had him in there, and he should have been, the bottle should have been a Cybersphere.
Yeah. And I think I mentioned that in the deck tech too. And that was
With CVH, and
yeah.
it really should have been a Cybersphere. It was in there. What did we ended up cutting it for no good reason.
We opened up the slot to play Saracon, just in case I could pick him up at the event, and I obviously wasn't able to. So
Yeah, and then I don't know if you just I had the Cybersphere Dragons for the team,
and I didn't. Yeah, I didn't have any. So yeah, that was that. Still worked out though.
Still worked out pretty well, I hear.
Our number 5 pick is Shawk'naw. This guy just gives you a lot of game against. If you're playing we'll just go ahead and move on to what he fits in first, and then because that'll kind of explain his reason. He fits in a rush deck. You could maybe fit him in a mid-range deck, and you could maybe fit him into a tempo deck. But he like thrives in rush. A lot of the rush decks are pretty quick. I mean, if they can curve out, then it's Christmas land. But doing the white for the Shawk'naws and for other things just makes the deck a little more resilient. You don't have to worry about really, really terrible draws as much because you can kind of dig your way out. And as being a number 5 spot, I actually missed something. Our top 5 here are, we call that the support break, where 6 and under, they don't have support, so they're not very great. We could argue that Cybersphere is great on its own, but 5 and up are like great on their own. They're just not being played.
Yep. And maybe there isn't a deck to break them. I mean, Shawk'naw, it could be played in some decks. Like, it's really good against control. It taps Squeaky. It does a lot of work.
Yeah, I mean, in the control mirror, even if you had one, which would be you'd be going out on a limb, but on those stalemates when no one has drawn their Squillis yet and no one has drawn their Stormspark yet, you can swing with Shock, tap down something that you have the capability of killing and can't get counter killed, and start getting incremental advantage. So
even in the rush mirrors, when it attacks, it taps another creature, and you can generate card advantage by attacking that creature too, which means if you're not getting attacked in the Rush Mirror, you're probably winning.
Yeah, yeah. I think one of the rules of Rush, which I've kind of pulled over from this game called Magic.
The Gathering?
Yeah, The Gathering.
If you're playing, pretty good at that too.
If you're playing a Rush deck, in that game, it's like a mono red. If you're not damaging your opponent, any turn you're not damaging your opponent, you're losing. So, I mean, Shawk'naw's pretty good because you can tap down a blocker, pick up a shield, and then you can use one of your other guys to keep pressing your pressure, or you can knock out a dude and get rid of the chance of them counter swinging. So,
we gotta get Chris Benzinger and Ryan Saban in this game.
That'd be good. Number 4. Number 4 pick is Ragefire Tetsurian. I really liked him a lot. When I first got into the game,
I'm gonna break him. Yeah, I'm not done with this guy yet.
it was one of the cards that I played. I tried to use against the Esper deck at that time, and whatever I was trying at the time wasn't really working.
He spent a month and a half trying to beat my Esper deck with pretty much everything he could throw at me, and then some. Couldn't do it. Then he decided to just break down and bring it to Milwaukee and win the KMC with it. But this card, it's a dragon. The red bird is really bad. This card could be in a like red-white Lux package Rush deck, or it's like a Geist of Saint Traft in Magic for the people that don't know. If your opponent can't interact with it, that's bad. That's part of a game, and I really hope Wizards doesn't print too many Geist of Saint Trafty cards for this game because it's really unhealthy. Part of a card game is, for it to be healthy, is I'm interacting with my opponent all the time. I'm outplaying them. This guy, sometimes he just turns sideways 3 or 4 turns and you win the game.
Yep. Only thing that kills him before turn 9 that's being played right now. In the control decks, the water, nature, darkness, water, light,
White.
water, darkness, lowercase n, nature, lists that can kill him.
Yeah, but those are bad.
Before turn 9 before turn 9 is your Lyris, your opponent's Lyris. I mean, he could have Hexproof and Lyric could not tap him down, but then you're going to want to be swinging with him if you have him with Double Breaker, and then she can just counter get him.
We talk about the light white dark deck a lot, or light water dark deck. I'm a Magic player. We talk about it a lot, but it really is a large part of the field. And when you go to a major event, it's a deck that you really need to take consideration in when you bring a deck to a major event, because it is so good and it's going to be there a lot.
Yeah. And then our number 3 pick, kind of the same ballpark as Ragefire Tetsurian, King Neptus. I'm not sure if he's popped up. He's popped up a couple of times, but not a whole lot. He hasn't gone mainstream yet. Not everyone is playing a King Neptus. He is like a Ragefire, but he's always untargetable by your opponent. As soon as he's in play, they can't do anything to him.
He's a 5-turn clock that just continues turning sideways.
He literally only dies in combat.
He's great in a mid-range deck, tempo decks. If you can drop him, attack a few times, or apply a little bit of earlier game pressure, and then Rusalka, bounce some things, just keep your opponent on their heels before they get to Andromeda Mana, or get lucky with a Herald or a Bottle, you're probably going to win that game. He's awful in control. I seen a top 8 deck with it in it, and it was bad.
Yeah, you want to be putting pressure with him, and
Yeah.
just having him sitting on the field is kind of neat as a body. Maybe if you're trying to always keep your keeper laws turned on, because then he won't die. But yeah. Number two on our list is Death Liger Apex Predator. So not Death Liger from the base set, but Death Liger Apex Predator, the one we got in the most recent set. Bottom line for us, for him, is that he's card advantage.
Yep.
He does have to attack. That's why he's kind of a sleeper. You have to swing with him to get your effect that makes him good.
There is no immediate advantage when you cast him, but the colors he's in, you can disrupt your opponent so much with Mesmerizes, Fumes. This is why he's going to be kind of good in a mid-range deck. He could just seal the deal. I mean, it's something where if you're already kind of being crippled and then they drop them, it could just be him. It could just be over with. He's a double breaker. He's a fast clock. He gets blockers out of the way. He's good against Greed if they stumble. I mean, it kills.
Yeah.
Kills Hyperspeed Dragon. It's good.
Yeah.
With the disruption and the support it has, there is a deck that he should be in.
Yeah. And he can also be played in control. As a finisher, really. You stick him into play and then you just start turning him sideways. And he'll just nom on your opponent's field all day.
There is some points where he's not, like, to counter argue what Jared said, that control usually only wants to try to win when it knows it can win, because it wants to take that randomness factor away from I had good shield breaks.
Yeah.
So
but he still kind of plays into it, because if you got a bunch of little itty bitties, then those little itty bitties aren't, he only wipes one at a time, but they won't be swinging into your shields.
Yeah,
so.
he's kind of really good with Andromeda too, for your opponent to attack into.
Yeah.
It takes 2 creatures, and he's smoking creatures as
Yeah.
fast as they can play them.
Yeah. And our number 1 sleeper hit creature is Magma Dragon Malgars. He is a dragon.
Is the only reason why he's above Death Liger right now.
Yeah. The dragon thing pushed a lot of the dragons on the list above where they would have placed. Looking back on it, I actually think we probably could have put Cybersphere a little higher, but
yeah. Dragons have a lot of support with Dragon Strike and Furnace. Lux and Nyx are some of they're so good in the game right now.
Like, they're good, but they're also balanced because they are so tiny. It's perfect. So he's a dragon. That's what bumped him over the Liger to number 1. A lot of the same reasons Liger's good is why he's good. He nets you card advantage when he attacks. Potentially more than Liger could, because he does Dragon's Breath. And he is huge. He is big for 8 mana.
11,000.
Oh, man.
This is just Nutter Butters.
We can't sing Nutter Butters until we reveal our Nutter Butter picks of the list. What are you doing?
Well, I already know mine.
All right. Well, he's huge. It's all the same, and he only costs 8, so he's gonna stick. He's gonna come into play
Fast, turn 6 sometimes.
Yeah. It's only a turn before an Andromeda, but
yeah, he's just big. He's again with the Dragon support. Now for the counter argument with him, Infernus, the Emulator, or Infernus the Awakened, they're really good. He could be just another copy of Infernus. I don't know why the Greed decks don't really play him too much because of the card advantage he could generate. Dropping him off into a Hyperspeed Dragon, and he's an Armored Dragon besides that, or cheating him into play with Herald. That's neat.
That's pretty good. Yeah, so that is our pick of the creatures for sleeper hits. Nutter Butter picks.
You go first. I want to be dramatic. Oh wait, it's Cybersphere Dragon. You guys knew that. Yeah, I love that card. I don't know why it doesn't see more play. It's so good against control. I found myself, when we were testing, crystal memorying for it all the time.
That early game crystal memory for a Cybersphere is
it's pretty good.
you know,
Turn
especially
three.
I mean in the list that you played in, yeah, it's
Turn 3 Nyx. Turn 4 Crystal Memory. Neat. All right.
neat. My Nutter Butter pick for this list is King Neptus. I like him a lot.
You just wanted to pick a higher number than me, huh? He's just still salty about the Kaijudo video.
Oh, we gotta do another one of those. We gotta even up the tally here. Yeah, King Neptus. I mean, we gave you all the reasons. I just like. It's really a bummer when you stick a creature and then they just go, oh, they don't look concerned at all. Your opponent does one of these. You go or not King Neptus, but Andromeda, and they go, and you're like, oh, I guess they have the removal in their hand. At least they got my shields.
Or they flip a Shield Blast or
Yeah.
removal spell.
On the turn you played it, yeah, you're like, swing with my little guy after I played this big guy. Oh.
Oh, I can't kill that with my Shield Blast now.
Yeah. So he lives through those situations.
Yep. Really bad in control though. I don't know why anybody would play it there.
So that's our top 8 creature sleeper hits. If you agree with some of our picks, go ahead and let us know in the comments. If you completely disagree with some of our picks and think some of these cards are just the worst and should never be played, go ahead and throw that in the comments too.
We could be wrong.
It's definitely not. That's definitely a possibility.
But we do play a lot.
Let us know of any ideas you have for future videos. Yeah.
Well, we did a top 8 because
Oh.
people seem to really like our top 8 list. We're going to be doing more. We might make it a monthly thing. Maybe.
Yeah, right now we're on a weekly track, but we'll like bi-weekly or monthly because we'll run out of top X lists pretty fast.
Oh, no, we won't.
Well, not pretty fast, but well, either way, you'll see a lot more of these videos.
Top
So
8's favorite Scar Adorables. They're just so cute.
so darn adorable.
That adorable days.
I am Jared Oxtater,
I'm Steve Ferry.
and this is Kaijudo 24/7.